Hi, Islamic Dad here. I'm going to do a video on criticism, vulnerability, constructive criticism, etc. within the relationship with the narcissist. Um, I was watching some stuff today and it kind of helped me click some experiences I had in the past into place, some puzzle pieces. And one of them was just the kind of putting these two things together that I think everyone understands and can agree on, but doesn't necessarily make a connection between the two. One of these is narcissists cannot handle criticism at all because they are driven by shame and guilt. They perceive any and all type of constructive criticism, or any, straight criticism as just a personal attack on their soul, their spirit. Conversely, on the other side of this is, if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, there might be times when there's conflict or just items in the relationship where you approach them softly, with open arms, open heart, kind words, and try to present it as, okay, it's not you versus me, it's us versus the issue. And so you're doing the right thing from your perspective. And so it might be something like, say, they always leave their dirty dishes in the sink, and you've made it clear to them that, in your house, you prefer that everyone just goes that next step, clean your dishes, put them in the dishwasher. That way, that step's already been taken care of. There's no dishes being gross in the sink. And again, this is just a hypothetical. I mean, it could be something like, okay, when the trash gets full and you see that, be the one to take out the trash. And again, these are not personal attacks at all. And so you might say, oh, I'm going to approach the narcissist with this and say, hey, if you see the trash start getting, full and it's about to overflow, just do me a favor, just, cinch it up, take the trash out. And, stuff like that, or the dishes or whatever. The narcissist will perceive that as a personal attack on them. They'll take it personally. You might say, hey, turn off the lights before you go to work, because, this, last month's electric bill was $400. And, not a big deal. Nothing that they can specifically, rationally argue against. But at the same time, they're very likely to get very angry because they're very hurt and start arguing with you and say, well, you leave the lights on all the time when you go to work and I don't say anything, and I always turn the lights off. It's just, this is the one time that you caught me, and you're always picking on me, and you're always nitpicking, and why can't we just get along? And this is why things can never be good between us. I mean, sound familiar? I think I have that recorded. Hearing that line of argument from my previous relationships. So where I'm going with putting these two together is the realization that, that said, how do you even have a functioning relationship with a narcissist of any kind ever? A healthy relationship, by definition, is going to grow, evolve, change, adapt, and do so in a healthy manner. The nature of existence, life, is change and adaptation. And so there are going to be times when, something happens and you're going to have to be able to bring up these discussions with your partner. In addition, this is going a little bit further, but like, say, setting boundaries. The whole like trash thing, it might go even further. Like, hey, don't bring tree nuts into my apartment because I'm deathly allergic to them. That's why I have my EpiPen with me at all times. And if I'm exposed to, tree nuts, I could go into anaphylaxis and die before the ambulance even gets here. So please don't. And, something like that, that's very, very serious. And, there's a chance the narcissist is going to try to twist that around and take it personally and be like, well, I'm not trying to kill you. Is that what you're implying? That, I want you dead? That's not what I'm trying to do. And, I don't think that a little bit of tree nut dust would kill you. I don't believe that. I think you'd have to actually eat the tree nuts for you to go into anaphylaxis. And I think you see clearly where the tree nuts are. And as long as you don't eat them, you're going to be fine. I mean, it would somehow become a debate. So, but I mean, again, back to my point. The conundrum is, how do you have a relationship with someone where you're not able to broach subjects at all? Where no matter how small or how large the issue is, they will make it personal and view it as a personal attack on themselves. I mean, taking your shoes off, when you come in from outside. I could just go on and on, but I think you get what I'm saying. I mean, and that's the part that, like, it got me just, scratching my head today. It's just like, because full disclosure, I was thinking about my relationship with my covert ex-narcissist, or ex-girlfriend, covert narcissist, and reading emails and just seeing like the disagreements we had, and seeing how all the issues I brought up were completely valid, and how all the issues she would fight tooth and nail, try to flip it 180 on me. But what was interesting is that there were a couple of times when she came around, which is honestly shocking when you think about a narcissist doing that. So there was a time when, early in the relationship, where she had actual medical issues. I mean, again, like one of those things where it's not, fabricated, like real medical issues. And the medical issues had just destroyed our sex life, just wiped it out. Needless to say, I wasn't too happy about that. But I tried to discuss the issue with her and see if we could ever get to a point that worked for both of us. But the fact is that she was so ashamed that her medical issues had destroyed our sex life, that she felt that being honest and vulnerable about it was not even an option, that she had to go into full defensive mode, go to war, put up the shields, get out the sword, and try to like turn the whole subject back around on me and try to make it about, something else. But what was interesting is after 3 or 6 months, I mean, maybe she had a good therapist at the time, or maybe she just, was in love. I know people hate to hear that narcissists love, but like I've said before, I think they do. For a while. And that, she was open about it and said, look, I am sorry that I did that. I understand that my medical issues were, impacting the our sex life. And so that was drastic. And so to be clear, and this is interesting back then, and I've seen this since with her. She kind of makes a distinction between accountability and remorse and apology and stuff like that. So she's will occasionally take accountability, like she did in this instance, where she said, yes, it was my health issues that impacted our sex life. But there's no follow-up with remorse, regret of how it impacted us. Any feeling of empathy towards me, of having been on the other side of that. I mean, again, even from that point, all she can see is, okay, this is what happened. I'm taking accountability and admitting that I did that. The end. She does not address how it affected me. She did not address, any feelings of remorse or regret in having done that. But even then, I mean, geez, honestly, with a narcissist, even taking accountability is a big deal. So, yeah, and so, but again, like going all the way back through this, is just like, even in situations where the narcissist is the one who is in control of the issue. So, like, say they have a health issue. They will not take accountability for their own health issue. And at that point, like, how do you discuss it? How do you have that conversation to fix how it impacts the relationship when the narcissist with the health issue will not even admit that their health issue is the problem or causing problems? You can't. I mean, you've basically lost the race before you're even out of the gate. And so again, it's like one of those things that just makes me scratch my head. It's like, how is it even possible to have any type of healthy relationship with a narcissist when there is no way to handle issues? You can't bring them up. And if you mention them, even if you're not being personal, even if you're being, very objective about things, they are still going to take them as a personal attack and come back at you with a knife. So, yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people in relationships with a narcissist describe the walking on eggshells. And, I know for myself, I never experienced that necessarily myself, but it was the fact that after a year or two of these experiences, I just got to the point where I saw it as being productive versus, unproductive, where I'm just like, I'm not going to waste 3 hours arguing over the dishes in the sink when I know that, one, it's going to lead to a fight, and two, nothing's going to change. At the end of the 3-hour argument, nothing will change. And so at that point, I just started letting stuff slide. And it just kind of, the list just kind of built up. until by the end of the relationship, I was just like, I'm miserable. This is not fun. This is not fulfilling. I haven't got a clue why I'm still here. And so I left. But yeah, it just stinks, because it's like one of those things where, normally you think like, okay, well, if this doesn't work, I'll try this other option, and then that will fix it. And that's the thing. In this situation, when you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you need a tool to handle issues, so that the relationship can continue on and progress in a healthy manner, I don't know of any. I don't think there is one. And if you guys want to say, putting down boundaries and stuff like that, be my guest. I mean, again, it's one of those things where inevitably, in my experience, when dealing with a narcissist, you have to basically say, okay, if this is the boundary I'm setting, and if you cross it, I will leave. I will pack my bags and I will go. And the thing is, there's no bluffing. You have to mean it when you say it. You have to have your bags packed and say, if you cross that boundary, I will leave. And the thing is, because there's a 99% chance that they will cross that boundary. And I'll tell you, I will bet the house, even if they don't cross it, they're going to hit that line. They're gonna test you. They're gonna hit that line, look at you, hit that line again, look at you, and see. They're gonna see how close they can get and what you do. I mean, it's a bizarre game with them. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, I wish that there was another tool to use to, skirting all the other issues of being in a relationship with a narcissist, just that there was a tool to handle issues that arise normally, as they do in any relationship, and have a tool to deal with that with a narcissist and have it be effective and productive. So hopefully this has been helpful.